How's it going, everyone? New Mutator here, and I'm going to be casting the first game of the match between Zerk's Own My Goals and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. These are our two teams here. It is the QR1 in the Myth World Cup 2013, and this is one of the first matches that was played, that I know of anyway. So Osmodian's going to be leading the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles here, which is kind of the higher seed, I would imagine, or at least more people would expect this team to go further into the tournament. But yeah, so we'll see how they do. Although it's kind of interesting that Osmodian is going to be captaining at this point, since Giant Killer General is kind of the de facto captain in most situations. So I think he's kind of deferring to let some of his other team players step up and see how they do here in the QR, since the results don't matter as much as they do later on in the tournament. So Osmodian's captaining Giant Killer General, of course, is on the team. DAC, or DAC, is also on the team, as well as Mercredon, who actually was featured in, very recently in one of my Myth World Cup profile videos. And Eastwind is here. August and Rat King is going to fill out the roster. They're going to be facing up against Zerk's Own My Goals, led by Noble Steed, who's actually Genghis Khan. Homer, his younger brother, Cremesis on the team. Highwired, or HW, as I've seen him also, are both on the team, and I think Zachnafane is filling in for somebody, probably Donsky, I would imagine, as Donsky, I don't know if he's going to be showing up for this team or not. I'm kind of curious to see what happens with that. Mike is here, and Honky is here as well, so kind of interesting. I know Paladise is on this team as well, but I guess he was busy or hungover, so maybe he showed up later on in the match, but we'll see. This is game one of this particular match. It's territories, and I think it's Kara Kadarn or something like that. I don't know how to pronounce it, but yeah, so we'll see exactly what happens here. Kind of a heavy thrall trade
Game
for Zerk's Own My Goals, as all these players, it looks like they have a pretty even percentage of the team's resources here. The units that are doled out pretty evenly split on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. For Zerk's Own My Goals, however, it looks like maybe he's handing out a few more here, but it looks like Genghis is taking the vast majority, about a quarter of his team's units, and that's out of 7 players. You can see them healing the whites for the pus. Both teams are going to be opting to do that.
Flag
and
captured.
Let's zoom out and see exactly what's going on. Uh-oh. Somebody tossed... Who was that? Eastwind? Accidentally tossed
captured.
a
Flag
pus, it looked
captured.
like. Oh well.
Flag captured.
Or was it... Yeah, I guess it was Eastwind. I don't know. I don't know, that was odd. I don't think he meant to do that. Yeah, Giant Killer General noticed as well. Okay, so the object in territories is to grab as many flags as possible by the end game. You want to control the flags, and so the team that controls the most flags by the end will be the victor here in game one. As we see, Honky, Highwired, and presumably others. No, I guess it's just Honky and Highwired are streaming here into the mid. They're going to be coming up against Rat King and DAC, or DAC. I don't know, maybe he can school me on how he likes his name pronounced. Eastwind is kind of waiting in the wings, and he might actually want to swing down into the south, as Zach and Cremisi are making their way down there. They're going to be flanking and coming up against August, and August is probably going to retreat from this, although he does have a Puskull advantage at this point. However, Zach does have some Puskulls of his own on the way. Looks like Giant Killer General and Mercredon are going to basically chase away the north of Zerk's Own My Goals, as Mike is going to retreat, as he is clearly overpowered. Not overpowered, but clearly there's a dwarf here. He's got a couple Pus goals, but there's 3 against him. It's going to be difficult for him to move against that. Looks like now we have a archer engagement as High Wired and Genghis finally moving in here. Yeah, Genghis did opt to keep about 20% of his team's units. Nice Pus there. High Wired pussing 3 of Dak's archers, and I wouldn't be surprised if maybe 2 of these go down. But it looks like only 1 is probably going to go down. However, we do have another Pus, however it does, and that is from Genghis, who gets sniped there at the end, so he wasn't able to follow through with that. Couple more Pus goals, I imagine, going down. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that these archers do have fire arrows, so that's going to do some damage, although not in the water. Probably not very much in the water. And actually, Rat King and Dak are going to be pushed out of the mid, as it looks like Honky now here mid as well, going to help basically take this middle island here and push the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle team away, as Giant Killer General is going to relieve that middle force there as well. So kind of a stalemate mid, but this flag area is controlled by Zerk's Own My Goals, who are up in flags, and very trivially up in percentages as well, about 2%. 2 percentage points there. As there might be an engagement here. Looks like Mercadon is going to move kind of into this area. But I'm not sure if he's going to be able to push away Mike or not. As it looks like Mike is going to be reinforced by Homer here. So yeah, that's going to be interesting to see exactly how that works out. Let's go south really quick. Let's blow this up just a little bit as well, so we can kind of see where everybody is. Yeah, Mercadon is going to be focused down, it looks like. Yes, contested. He doesn't manage to block that Pus and ends up getting Pussed at the end. Looks like Mike is going to run in and finish the job. No, he's going to be chased away, although he does open up a lane here for Homer's Puskull, and that dwarf ends up going down, and Mike's Puskull dies in the explosion and drops his Pus onto these warriors. Another Pus going down from Mercadon, but it doesn't look very good for him, as I think he is going to get cleaned up here, as Homer's going to run in there and basically finish the job. Mercadon's going to retreat with what he has left, basically 2 warriors. Losing that dwarf basically sealed his fate there, and getting Pussed didn't really help much either. I think they could have just let... Yeah, okay, so this goal is going to be helping him out here. That goal can outrun warriors. While that's happening, though, Mercadon did get cleaned up, so Zerk's Own My Goals won that north engagement,
captured,
and now they're freeing up resources to move elsewhere, although Rat King is losing an archer here and there. High Wired is still hanging on here. Looks like he has 3 archers remaining, as Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles do manage to push back up onto the island, and it looks like they're going to push away Zerk's Own My Goals in the meantime with their superior firepower with their archers, as they do have more remaining here in this middle area. Fire Arrow gets unleashed, but doesn't do all that much damage. Basically just using that to push back these archers just a little bit so they can continue to advance slightly, ever so slightly. And running with that Puskull, trying to get some interference down on these archers, trying to look for an opening.
Flag contested.
Some more fire arrows go down, but it looks like Honky loses another archer. He might lose 1 more here. Oh, very nice Puss. Wow, that was Homer with that clutch Puss, freezing a lot of units, and freezing indeed that dwarf, who does go down to archer fire. Another Puss though gets used on it pretty much needlessly, and some friendly fire, I think, from Rat King. I think that was friendly fire on Homer, and all of a sudden it's looking really good for this Zerk's Own My Goal force, since they were reinforced, I believe, by Homer, who's kind of trying to make some waves here by pushing in on this force. And so I think Homer actually doing a pretty good job at turning the tide here in the mid. And let's see if there's anything happening elsewhere. I mean, here's Eastwind and August. They haven't
Flag
really seen all
captured.
too much action, but they're going to probably move back to the mid here and try to see if they can help out their defensive force. You know, their offensive force that's basically been turned into this kind of rabble force. You know, there's hardly any units left remaining from that middle engagement for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And yes, they are going to move into the mid area and maybe push up against Mike and Honky here, with Zach helping out just a little bit as well. But it looks like August might not want to tango with that, at least right now, as there is nearly 4 minutes remaining. Osmodian is going to hold on to this home flag for the meantime.
Flag
and
captured.
Let's see, yeah, so Giant Killer General and Eastwind both have warrior packs remaining. And August has most of his units remaining as well.
Flag captured.
So I'm guessing Giant Killer General was in some kind of fight as well and came out on top because some of his warriors have 4 kills or 3 kills, 2 kills. And Eastwind probably helped out with that. So I'm guessing that they won the South. But it is pretty close, 37-44%. So despite losing the North, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are still in this game, despite losing the mid as well, and they are going to try to retreat to the deep water, maybe to sink those Thrall to fight another day. Maybe Rat King can do something with this dwarf here, as archers cannot shoot through the trees. But Highwired actually doing really well with these archers. You can see he's got 3 kills, 5 kills on that one, so that's pretty much the maximum number of veteran kills that you can get, or kills that can give you veteran status. 5 is the max. Beyond that, you don't accrue any benefits. Looks like they are going to make it to the deep, taking a little bit of damage there from the archers. Might lose that one. So far, Highwired. Uh-oh. Rat King is in trouble here. He's going to try to rush these archers. He might end up taking some damage. Now he's just going to push them back. But now he's kind of in a tough spot, as he is going to probably take a little bit of fire here. Hopefully he doesn't lose it, but it's going to be really hard to outrun these archers now.
Flag captured.
Oh, and there were some Thrall in this area, although, yep, so Kremisi able to take out those Thrall. Very interesting. As I don't think Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles knew about those Thrall. And it looks like Zach and Honky are mid. It looks like August, though, is going to basically
flag captured.
Rush their back, while
Honky
is going to try to deal with the front here with Eastwind and Rat King knocking on his door. However, 30% now to 43%. So Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles have hardly, I don't think they have any artillery. They just have kind of a melee advantage. But it's going to be really difficult. What they can do is utilize their superior melee to try to do a tag grab at the end. As archers and dwarves aren't really, they're high-cost units, but they don't, if they're not dealing damage, they're not doing much, and they can only be in one place at a time, whereas you can send melee all over the place. Looks like Mercadon is going to be contesting this flag in the meantime for Giant Killer General to grab. It's tied at 2 flags apiece, 28 to 32%. It actually got pretty close there.
Flag captured.
As I didn't really see it show up on the map, I apologize for that. But it's getting really close, as Eastwind is going to move in, or Giant Killer General, I should say. He's going to move in a little bit prematurely, I would think, with those warriors, as they really wanted to wait for this one here. But it looks like they are going to prevail and tag this flag. They are now up 3 to 2, but they are down in percentages.
Flag contested.
Looks like Kremisi is going to hang on to this flag as well. Osmodian is going to attempt to do what he can to contest it, as it is sudden death. but it doesn't look like he's going to be able to
Flag
do much.
captured.
Zach Nafine going to try to keep Eastwind off this flag.
Contested.
Rat King is contesting
Flag
as well, but he's going to
contested.
run into these Thrall and maybe take a hit or two. Once he gets off this flag, there's going to be a 5-second counter for the
Flag
winner.
captured.
I don't think there can be a tie in sudden. Oh my gosh, they do end up tagging that flag.
Contested.
This flag is contested. Now Honky is going to try to face off with Dak. Dak going to take some unnecessary damage. I think Thrall do more damage than Warriors, so it's going to be really difficult. Even though Warriors cost twice as much.
Contested.
Some Thrall now going to be sent elsewhere as Kermisi sends those somewhere else. Zachnifine going to basically secure this flag, and it looks like that flag is secured for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Highwired now and Honky going to try to deflect August, as August is attempting to rush the artillery on this flag. He does have that goal. He needs to move that goal, perhaps. No! Wow, that was a interesting shot. That goal needs to move out and take out that dwarf, I think would be the thing to do. He does end up taking out that dwarf. That is the correct thing to do. And Mercuron is going to come up from behind. I think these archers are going to be cleaned up. Two flags to 2, 12 to 16% now. And it's pretty close. I think Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is going to take that, but Zachnifine is going to deflect Rat King in this location. And Kermisi is going to reinforce it, so that flag is going to be secured for Zerk's Own My Goals, who I think are going to take this flag as well, although Dak doing what he can. He is going to take a little bit of extra damage there. Giant Killer General is going to move in, but I don't think there's anything he can do. Zek is hot on his heels and is probably going to blow him up with that dwarf. So it is 3 to 3 with the middle flag contested, and oh, Zachnifine gets a lucky. I hate using that word, but that freeze was lucky as it basically anchored that warrior to that one area, so he can control click and take him out with a single bomb there. And Dak is going to fall as well. Mercredon and August are on the way, but I think they're getting here just a little bit too late, as indeed the middle flag is going to go to Zerk's Own My Goals, and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and drop game 1. Very interesting. That was back and forth all across the map. Very close game. As we look at the damage numbers, and keep in mind that these numbers have been altered since 1.7.2. In 1.8 they are calculated now to reflect the unit trading values of the various units that have died and so forth. So so they're a little bit more accurate. If you want to, you know, just to if you wanted to calculate it so that it would basically translate to 1.7.2, how those damage figures are calculated, basically you would just multiply it by 2.56, I believe. And you know, they're calculated a little bit more accurately as well in 1.8. So that's something to keep in mind. It looks like Highwired actually pulling it out for his team. 17 kills and only 9 losses, 36 damage. That's going to be the most on his team, and indeed in the game for kills and damage as well. Interestingly enough, Genghis had negative damage, I guess, from healing those whites. He did manage 8 kills, but 16 losses for him. And Zach, the one substitute, actually doing okay. He had 10 kills and 12 losses. But you know, so pretty close there. Only 15 damage, but that's actually not too bad, all things considered. And for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, it looks like Giant Killer General had the most damage on his team, and I'm guessing from that warrior pack plus the Puskals, they were able to clean up in the south. That's my guess anyway. So 27 damage for him. That's going to be the most on his team. Followed closely actually by several members on his team. Eastwind with 25, August 24, Rat King 21. Yeah, that's going to be the most. And Osmodian, of course, with negative damage from healing those whites. But actually the kills only 6 apart, losses only 2 apart, and the damage is only, what, 9 apart. So that's, you know, the cost of 3 archers, essentially. So pretty close game here in game 1. I decided to cast this because by popular request I might actually move into game number 2 and cast that as well, so stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching everybody, and we'll see you in the next game.